Hey guys, Silver Shady here. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemonday. And today we are looking at my buddy Dan's favorite list of all time, Night March. Sarcasm is sarcastic. Originally the plan for this episode was a match video between me and my buddy Dan, but that kind of fell through the cracks when my phone decided to die halfway through, which was our recording device at that point in time. Working on trying to get a actual camcorder so we can record some of those for you guys, but for now we're gonna go over this. I was also gonna do a set review for Guardians Rising, but seeing as we don't yet know exactly what cards are going to be in there or what's going to be left out, I'd rather wait until we get a few more reveals and a few more leaks about the actual English set. That way we kind of have a better idea what we're looking at. So we're going to take a look at a very basic expanded Night March list for today. Naturally, Night March is the deck that was supposed to win last year's Worlds, but then Mega Audino came out of nowhere and just said, fuck you, so yeah, that's the thing. But technically you have two main attackers with this deck. Usually Joltik is the main figurehead, I guess, of Night March, seeing as he is the best of the three attacks. But 30 HP basic, 1 retreat cost. For a double colorless energy, does Night March, name of the deck. This attack does 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the Night March attack. So basically the point of this deck is you load as many Pokemon into the discard pile as you can, swing with Night March for massive amounts of damage every single turn, stacking only a 1 press attacker every single time. And naturally, if that was the only Night Marcher, this deck would be dead before it even began. So we also run Pumpkaboo, which also has the Night March attack, but is worse, with 3 colorless energy attack cost. Night March dealing, again, 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the Night March attack. So. And then lastly, as our last Marcher, we have Lampent, which ironically for being a stage 1 is the worst of the bunch, being a Psychic and a DCE. But anyway, he's the one that you're going to drop into your discard pile first. To help support that, we also run 1 copy of Fates Collide Mew. It's Memories of Dawn ability. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon in play, which means you can copy either Pumpkaboo or Joltik, depending on which one you actually have in play at that point in time, and it essentially gives you a second marker. So just a very good card to have. Just keep in mind you do have to keep at least 1 Night Marcher on your bench to be able to use Mew, otherwise he's completely useless. We also run 1 copy of Ancient Power Archeops. Each player can't play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon. There's a lot of reasons to have this. GXs are quite common right now, especially with Decidueye being able to screw this deck over infinitely. It's just a good idea to have an Archeops in your list, because if you do face off against a turn 1 Decidueye, good luck. And we also run 1 copy of Gallade with Premonition. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on top of your deck in any order. So, kind of useful attack there. And then for a double colorless energy, you also get Sensitive Blade. Does 60 damage, and if you played a support card from your hand during this turn, this attack does 70 more damage. So just a very good attack to have. We also run 3 copies of Shaman EX for draw power, and 1 copy of Jirachi EX while it's still actually usable, until Tapu Lele comes out in May, for its Stellar Guidance ability, allowing us to search out a supporter. And moving on to our supporters, we run 3 copies of Professor Sycamore. We run 1 copy of Teammates, 1 copy of Pokemon Ranger, 1 copy of N, 1 copy of Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. This is essentially Archie's Ace in the Hole for fighting types. So this allows us to get out our Archeops and our Gallade without having to evolve into them. We run 1 copy of Lysander, 1 copy of Hex Maniac, 1 copy of AZ, and 1 copy of Lily for that first turn draw power. So, if you don't need either Archeops or Gallade out of that battle, which if you do, then naturally you're going after Maxies, but aside from that, usually it's a good idea to get Lily. Our items, we run 4 copies of Battle Compressor, our A-Spec of choice being Computer Search naturally. We run 1 copy of Escape Rope, 4 Puzzle of Time. This used to be one of my favorite cards. I used to actually throw this into every deck I built, but lately it's just not as good as it was when it first came out. Puzzle of Time, you may play 2 of them at once. If you played 1, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order, so it's a weaker Pokedex, or Premonition. If you played 2, however, you can put 2 cards from your discard pile back into your hand. Very useful for getting things like Special Energy back, which before Special Charge, this was the only thing that could do it. Speaking of Special Charge, we run 1 copy of that. 1 copy of Target Whistle to put a basic Pokemon from our opponent's discard pile onto their bench. Main purpose behind this is actually just to target down Shaymins as much as possible. Our opponent benches Shaymin and we make him regret it. 1 copy of Tool Scrapper. 3 copies of Trainer's Mail. We run 3 copies of Ultra Ball. 4 copies of Versus Seeker. And lastly, 2 Dimensional Valleys. And to round out the list, we run 1 copy of Silver Bangle to help hit those EX numbers. Come next set, this is another card that'll be replaced. This is actually going to be replaced with the Choice Specs, assuming it actually comes out next set like we think it will. Because Choice Specs will do that to both EXs and GXs. So it's just better all around. And then lastly, we have the 4 double colorless energies needed to make the deck function. Normally I would take this into a game for you guys, but I'm a little bit crunched on time for today. I know that's been happening a lot, I do apologize. Hopefully, not next week, but the week after, assuming we can get everything all set up, we'll be able to have a match video coming out for you. I might look at the Guardians Rising set list next week, but I'm not sure yet. It depends on if we get any more leaks coming out through PokeBeach or whatever's going on. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Your weekly code card should be showing up right about now. Another pack of Sun and Moon. Hope you pull good, and we will see you in the next one.